My name is Eileen Lawless, and I work as a dependent care advisor with Life and Work Connections. And today, we're going to start a series called Family Friday. We've had wonderful opportunity this week with our Life and Work Connections team to talk about mindfulness, breathing, being present with our bodies, sleep. There's been great topics. Today, and with the Family Fridays, we're going to be taking a little bit of a different spin on our presentation. We'd like to talk a little bit about storytelling, and maybe this is something that we can use during the course of the weekend. So we thought that we'd talk about that today, and I would also like to introduce you to Lourdes Rodriguez. Lourdes is the Child Care and Family Resources Center. There she is. Senior coordinator, excuse me. And Lourdes and I work together to address the caregiving needs of all ages of those who require care at the University of Arizona, whether that's a child, whether that's an older individual, whether that's an adult. So Lourdes pretty much takes care of those children and families, where I help those who are caregivers of adults 18 to end of life. And it's an honor to work with Life and Work Connections, and it's an honor to work with Lourdes. So there you go, Lourdes. All right, so today we're going to talk about storytelling. And before we even talk about that, I'd like to just give a little disclaimer. We're in a very unusual situation. So we all come in different shapes and sizes, and we share the fact that we need to be physically distanced from each other. We also share the fact that we have to take recommended precautions to stay safe and healthy. So today, when we talk, we're going to ask that you select those suggestions and ideas that apply to you and your family and the current situation. So as I mentioned, we're going to be talking today about storytelling. And a lot of times people think of that and they go, well, that's nice. But if we really are mindful about storytelling, we find that it can be extremely beneficial. It can also be a wonderful, cohesive, consistent opportunity to be present with your family and to take things in a very positive direction. So we're going to be talking about the benefits of storytelling. We're going to talk about the considerations that we need to take for storytelling. And then we're also going to look at some creative avenues or expressions of storytelling. But before we do that, I'd like to do just a mindful exercise. We are dealing with a lot of different things at one time. So right now, I'd like you to just try to connect with me, and I would like you to try to connect in this moment. So Tanya Lauer talked about putting your hand on your heart and giving a breath. So what I'd like you to just do right now is, if you want to put your hand on your heart, that's great. If you just want to put your hands to the side, that's perfect. But if I can ask you to just give me a nice inhale and an exhale. Now I'm going to ask you to take an inhale through your nose and an exhale through your mouth. Okay, let's just pause a second there. What I'd like you to do now, if I could ask you to do that, is just think about a quick story, any kind of story that you'd like, something that just pops into your mind, okay? And what I'd like you to do now, you can put your hand back on your heart, you can put your hands to your side, and I want you to give me a few more inhales and exhales. Everybody ready? Let's go. Inhale and exhale. 2 more to go. One more to go. Think of that story. Everybody good? Everybody with me? All right. Okay, so we often talk about, Lourdes and I work a lot together because we find that caregivers are what we call sandwich generation caregivers, meaning that they may be taking care of their parent and their child, or their child and their siblings. And we often work together, and we are very devoted to making sure that we are addressing caregiving needs through the generations. We often find, and research indicates, that when we are in family situations, multi-generational situations, when we are with social multi-generational systems, anything like that, we find that it's highly beneficial to everyone at every age. So we want to think about storytelling that has that inclusion of the different generations. Now, we have to take in effect that right now our loved ones may not be with us, or perhaps they were not with us before and now they are. So we're going to think about those dynamics as we go along. So we want to make sure that we're including everyone and being mindful of how storytelling works. Now, what are the benefits? There are a multitude of benefits for storytelling, and we can think about them now. We can reflect on them now. Right now, in this moment, we're looking for opportunities to provide connections and cohesion that may have existed before, but now we want to be a little bit more mindful about it. So we are connected. The benefits of storytelling goes through our family histories, talks about our culture. And don't get me wrong, in many situations, when we talk about culture, storytelling is an integral part of it. But now we may have to think about how we can carry that on, say, for example, with physical distancing. So storytelling is beneficial because it's generational, as we mentioned, okay? With older individuals right now, we find that isolation was an issue even before COVID-19 came upon us. So now we're very concerned that isolation is even more of an issue. So we need to be aware of that. How can we reduce those opportunities and bring cohesion and community back together? So even before this, it reduced social isolation. It gave people a sense of function. Emotionally, it gives people a confidence boost. It brings people back. It emotionally brings people to a positive and a good place. So, and you can think about other beneficial reasons as well. Now, I want you to think about stories and how we're going to relate them. Now, stories can be about anything. They can be about any place. They can be about any person. It's just a matter of trying to figure out where to start. So stories can be read. They can be prompted. Something could have happened this morning. I went for a run and this beautiful dog came up and wanted to be petted. They can also be made up. We find that our children make up these wonderful, magnificent stories. Maybe we can embellish on that. A lot of storytelling, especially within cultural aspects, is based upon our experiences, our family history, the traditions that we celebrate, or rituals that we celebrate on a daily or weekly basis or yearly basis. Food. So many stories can be told around not just food at the dining room table, but they can also be told when we're preparing food, when we're in the kitchen together. We can also think about stories relating to travel, to music, to dance, can be just about anything. I'd like you to consider your audience. We have our parents that we need to think about. We need to, perhaps our grandparents, our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren. We also understand the fact that maybe we're not with family. We also understand the fact that maybe some of us don't have that family that we can define. So maybe we think about our audience as members of the community. Generational factors to consider. And I'd like you to just think about a few things. So for older individuals, we might have some sensory issues. They may be hearing, they may be visual, they also may be speech. So sometimes we might need to give a little time for the older members of our family to complete their thoughts or to give words. Sometimes we might have to respectfully help them with that. And we just have to be mindful of how we can make sure that we will confirm or clarify that we understand what is being said and allow time for that to happen. Time. I've worked in healthcare for many years, and I've worked in activity programming, and we often define activities as successful. A successful activity and a successful storytelling activity may only last for 5 minutes. That's okay. Depends upon who's present with you at that time. It depends upon the mood of everyone. It really depends upon a lot of factors. So maybe what you can do is have an activity relating to storytelling and then come back and revisit it. I'll talk to you about some ideas about that a little later on. Please be aware of distractions. Turn off television. Any background noises, get rid of it. Just try to focus on the moment of storytelling. Emotions. This is something we're all aware of right now. Sometimes it's hard to get in the moment of storytelling, but once we get into it, we're going to find that confidence boost coming up. We're going to find those positive emotions. So I recommend that you keep on staying with those positive emotions. And if it gets negative, then we cut off the activity and we do it later on. Cognitive function. We have loved ones that may suffer from Alzheimer's disease and related dementias, and that's okay. You know, we just want to be mindful of how we can maybe even make that activity a little simpler, how we can be aware of those distractions, and once again, going back to time, making sure that we're okay with that time sequence. Okay, my friends, we need to keep things simple when we do storytelling, and I'd like you to just remember to use short, simple descriptions, use simple language, and let it flow. Oftentimes, when we start a storytelling activity, we might have our own agenda on the story that we want to tell, and we need to be aware of that. So I often liken the example to a child, and we give that child a birthday present, and it's all wrapped up, and it's in a cardboard box. And we find that, say, like a toddler opens up the present, and they pull out whatever's in the box and they play with the cardboard box. So once again, the story is the cardboard box rather than the present that's inside the box. Avenues of storytelling. My mother passed away a couple of years ago, and the one thing that she always said is that she wanted to write a book. So she loved her digital recorder, and we used that, and she loved using that as a method of her being able to tell stories. But it's going to be different for everybody, and now our situations are different as well. Maybe we can use the recorder on our phones to make sure that we get the information that we need. Verbal. A lot of cultures have storytelling of verbal stories over the generations, and that's something that we may want to uphold as well. An activity that we might be able to follow through with based on some of our stories might be having everyone work together to create a book. So that could be another thing. Photography could be a wonderful opportunity to express those stories. Art, you could either watercolor maybe some of the stories, or your children can take some chalk and draw it on the sidewalk outside. Video might be also a great opportunity to reflect storytelling, and songs. I've had a lot of people make up songs, and we've experienced songs that are based on various stories as well. The one thing that I want to talk about too is like a type of story, which could be a legacy. As I mentioned, my mother wanted to write this book, but she didn't know where to begin. There are some resources which I will be listing in a little while, but essentially a lot of people want to be able to tell stories of their legacies, of their lives. In dementia care, we often talk about a very therapeutic approach to activities, which is called reminiscence. So we find that older people or with dementia may not be that great with short-term memory, but they're very good with long-term memory. So if we jog a memory, we may be able to get them started and think about something that happened in their life and derive a story from that. So StoryCorps, for example, is a great opportunity. They have all different questions relating to different topics of people's lives, and you'll find that you'll be able to hit something if that's something that you wish to do. Okay. So what I'd like us to do, I'm going to kind of round this back in again. I'd like us to just kind of go back to that breathing, because pretty soon we're going to be leaving you, or I'm going to be leaving you. And I would like you to just kind of, if you'd like to close your eyes and once again just relax and think about the time that you're going to be spending with your loved ones this weekend, whether it will be in person or whether it will be remotely, whether you'll be needing to talk on the phone or video or FaceTime. And just think about the opportunity to be with them. Think about the opportunity to be present with them. Think about the opportunity where you can bring that cohesion and connection together. And I'd like you to think about some opportunities where you may be able to use the activity of storytelling for your situation at this time. I also hope that it will help you use it after and we're all back together again. So with that being said, if I can ask you to give me a nice inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. I'd like you to inhale again and exhale. One more for me, please. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. All right, so I have a listing here, and you can feel free to use the email that's listed on the next slide. These are some resources that I have to develop opportunities for storytelling for legacies. And there is our email address, and you can go ahead and email us if you have any questions, or you can just contact us and we would be happy to give you those resources. With that being said, I wish you a beautiful day. I wish you a beautiful weekend, and thank you for your time.